fan of modern blues guitar, then Marcus King will be no stranger to you. Not only has he got some of the coolest hats in the game, but he's also got some of the coolest guitar gear as well, including a signature orange amp that's only got one knob. What else do you need other than that? Well, what else he needed was a signature ES-345. This is the brand new Gibson Marcus King ES-345 that we're going to be checking out today. Now, as always, I'm going to split this video up into chapters because this guitar's actually got quite a cool little story about it that I'd like to tell you about today. But if you do just want to hear some sounds, you can check them out in the timeline below. And if you are down there, give us a subscribe while you're there. But I think let's just jump right in with the guitar. So Marcus King is no stranger to hollow body Gibson. It's kind of his like main choice, and actually, from reading into it, it seemed to have been like a kind of like familial history that caused him to play that, because his actual 1962 ES-345 that he plays actually belonged to his grandfather. It then belonged to his dad, which then was passed on to him, which I think is such a cool story, and you know, it kind of keeps that like lineage of like musical families going, which is always such a nice thing. But he's clearly a man of taste, because personally, 345 is my favourite out of the, I guess, the 3.5s, you know, if we're going to be calling them the hollow body, you know, double cutaway Gibsons that we're going for. 335s are cool, 355s are cool, but I have a special place in my heart for 345s. Now, this isn't a sort of like bread and butter, you know, 345 as you would get, like, you know, if we are talking about like a classic one. A couple of changes on this. We don't have the Veritone. It is just a mono input to this as well, but it's as much a 345 in the other elements as well. We have that maple, poplar maple 3-ply on there. We have a maple block going through the middle as well that will prevent some feedback. 22 medium jumbo frets on a rosewood board, and this is loaded with a pair of Gibson Custombucker pickups, which you heard at the start there, but let's check some more tones, shall we? It's one of those things I always find with the kind of semi-hollow Gibsons as well, is that like, despite them having the same humbuckers as say a Les Paul or something like that, it kind of handles those cleans like just a little bit better to my ears. Like, I don't know if that's obviously to do with just the airiness that's obviously happening with the semi-hollowness, the wood that it's made out of, and maybe just a kind of placebo effect with it as well. But there's definitely something going on, especially, let's add a couple more effects there, get that kind of nice jangly clean on the go. Now obviously it's going to handle that absolutely perfectly, but how does it handle some of that distortion? Because Marcus is no kind of stranger to, you know, big outlandish solo tones and all that sort of stuff, so maybe throw a little bit more distortion at this, see how it handles. Now of course you are going to get a little bit of that feedback as well, but sometimes that could be quite fun, right? Now, I might just be cheating a little bit because I do have a little bit of a noise gate on with my setup today as well, but those pickups are definitely no stranger to being able to handle those distorted tones. So outside of removing a couple of things like the Veritone and the stereo input into the 345, Marcus has done a couple of aesthetic changes with this to really make it his as well. Not only has it got his nameplate here, which can be removed, by the way, if you are looking for just like a kind of, you know, no frills 345, and you don't want his name all over the front of it, then you can remove this very easily, or actually replace it with your own name because you can get these made. But it's also gone for that kind of classic style, like vibrola trapeze bridge on here, but with no wiggle stick attached to it. So you could probably like push that a little bit to get those tones, but I probably wouldn't. And actually, you know, from feeling it there, it's pretty bolted on tight. So we're going for that more aesthetic look in it, and actually it will mean that your tuning is much more stable than if it was an actual sort of moving bridge. And of course, this guitar has opted for gold hardware with the tuners, the pickups, and the rest of the hardware on the guitar as well. I think it looks really good. I'm not usually the biggest fan of gold hardware, but this really pops. So yeah, outside of that, I think this is a really versatile guitar that is not just kind of pigeonholed into that sort of blues category, despite what the signature model of the artist, you know, what he plays. I think you can get a lot more out of this, you know, depending on what you need to. I do believe that like the Gibson semi-hollow guitars are some of their most versatile guitars, you know, outside of if you're playing like maybe metal on it or something, but then again, that would be awesome if you did. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a couple of loops before I round out this video here, just to get a bit more of an idea of what some of the sounds are like. think about the guitar down in the comments below, and while you're there, give us a like and a subscribe because you can keep up with all the latest news and latest releases at Guitar HQ. But until next time, I've been Kieran, and I've just been spending a little bit of time with the brand new Gibson Marcus King Signature ES-345. Have a great day.